Warning, warning, emergency, emergency. Eric Ten Hag's knickers are in a twist. Emergency. Eric Ten Hag, last seen at the Emirates Stadium in a post-match conference with his knickers in a deep, deep twist. Someone must help him. These are my thoughts on Eric Ten Hag and his whinging after the 3-1 Arsenal defeated. Arsenal 3, Man United 1. Welcome back to another episode of Fleet Footed. Just want to share a few post-match thoughts as well as the spiritual lesson that I got from the weekend, right? So, Arsenal 3, Man United 1 at the Emirates. Obviously, Arsenal getting the late goals, late goals. There's something to be said about that, to be honest, the late goals, and I'll speak on it later. But, yes, it's a great win for Arsenal. Needed win. Great win for Arsenal. You know, like, we've shown, I think since last season, how many late winners have we had? You know, late winner against United, back-to-back home games. Late winner against Fulham last season. Late winner against Bournemouth. Late equaliser against Southampton. There's just so many matches we've gotten late winners. Who else? There were so many more last season, late winners, where we just scored late. I can't think of it, guys. Late, but it's late. Sorry, but those are the ones I can remember so far. So it says something about Arsenal's character and Arsenal's energy, the amount of energy levels that we've got in reserve, that we are able to give our best in matches and still never stop to the very end. I think something's to be said about our character, you know. But in terms of the actual match itself, it's crazy because I feel like this match had electric and great moments. I don't think, like, in terms of, like, people are talking about, oh yeah, it was a spectacle, ridiculous game. But for most of the, like, it wasn't, the moments, the explosive moments in the game were explosive. But overall, like, if we're looking at overall quality of the match, it really wasn't that high. Now, one thing I disagree with is that a lot of people are saying, Arsenal didn't deserve to win. Oh yeah, Arsenal's still not looking good. United fans, oh yeah, they didn't deserve to win. Like, I agree, Arsenal weren't great. But this is an indictment on Man United that we were nowhere near as good as, I personally don't think we played anywhere near as good as we were last season when we beat United 3-2, a much more smaller margin in terms of goals, right? We won 3-1 this season, playing worse, right, than we did last season where it was a tighter game. It tells you all you need to know about if United have improved, if United have regressed, and if Arsenal have improved. Because I said it last week and I'm going to say it again. I don't think Arsenal have found their rhythm yet. I still think it's a team that's clicking. It's a team that's still in progress. But despite that, we still had more than enough chances to show that we absolutely deserve to win this. On another day, we score 4 goals. Havertz takes his chance where he doesn't air shot it, that's a goal. Either side of the keeper, Saka, that's a goal. Add those 2 to our 3, that's 5 goals we could have scored. So, and I've seen, guys, I've seen, it's so interesting. Oh man, like, I've never seen it. I think only Arsenal. I've never seen so many refereeing experts after a match. You've seen people on Twitter drawing their own lines on the pitch, and you're just thinking, guys, like, you full on had a is it Andy Goldstein, MBE? Like, you've got people posting their own pictures with their own lines to prove that Garnacho is not offside when he clearly was offside. Like, VAR proved it, and I'm just like, man, United fan, I'm sorry. I just have to say, I think there are some real ignoramuses in the Man United fan base. This is not a general take on all United fans, but just the majority I've seen. This is just nonsensical stuff. This is what you call a refusal to accept life for what it is. You know, complete delusion. And the funny thing is, United fans are moving like, oh, injustice. Arsenal deserve to win the match. That, like, if I was a United fan, I'd be more concerned that a weaker Arsenal performance, a less fluid, a still disjointed Arsenal performance was still enough to dispatch United. That's what I'd be concerned about. I'd be concerned about the team, regardless of what's happening, the team's inability to see games out and collapsing at the end, just like they did against Arsenal last season. Now, enough about United, but on Arsenal, it wasn't a vintage performance from us. You know, it really wasn't good. I still don't think Arsenal are at their best. You know, I get people, all of these online tacticians saying, yeah, first half, we didn't really press as much because we just let United have the ball because they passed it around their half and it was a tactical ploy. Yeah, well, even if that may be true, it's still not the Arsenal of last season, you know, like where teams would come to our ground and we would like literally impose our will on the game. We would impose ourselves on the game. I still didn't see enough. I didn't see much of that Arsenal. And again, this is not me griping at the team. I get it. The team, like I said last episode, is still a work in progress. You know, you got £105 million midfielder who was amazing, but still getting used to playing the way we play. You've got Kai Havertz, who I honestly think Arteta just needs to take him out of the firing line. I think the international break will do him some good because, man, the guy needs help. You know, he's struggling for confidence. So it's still disjointed, you know. And it's interesting because it's like, I don't think this is a system thing. I just think the team are just getting used to changes. Like, because a lot of people were saying last week, this system, where Thomas Partey's playing right back, this system, we're slow, we're this, we're that, with this system. You heard all of that last season, right? We switched back to type this previous game, and we weren't good. For me, there was legit no difference in terms of performance between Man United and Fulham. None. If anything, at Fulham, I would say we dominated the game and had more control, which is to be expected. Fulham aren't as technical a team as Man United. But still, we switched back to type. Ben White was playing right back. Gabriel was back in the team. Saka and Martinelli were playing wingers. Were playing as Saka and Martinelli were playing wingers with the fullbacks Zinchenko and Ben White, who are now able to overlap, but they still turned out quite average performances. I know Martinelli got an assist, and I know technically Saka gets the assist with the Rice goal, but like, I don't think we were great, you know, and I don't think we were as clinical with our chances, because despite as bad as we played, if we're clinical, that's really like a 5-2 or a 4-1 match, you know. And again, we're still getting caught and done with turnovers. You look at the goal that United scored; it's exactly the same type of goal we scored against Fulham. I mean, we conceded against Fulham, just poor turnovers in crucial areas. Our defensive shape, once we lose the ball, is all over the place. I think Ben White has to do a lot better, getting tighter to Rashford. It's a great finish by Rashford. That Rashford does what he does. We know how much of a menace he is coming off of the left, but I still thought Ben White has to get tighter. You can't let a guy like Marcus Rashford have all of that space to come inside and then shoot. Like, come on. And Ramsdale gets a hand to it, but I think it'll be harsh to say that, oh yeah, he should do better. So I don't think we were that great, and we switched to type. I hope this just shows people it's just the team are just still loading. They just still need time to click, and that's okay. You know, again, a lot is going to be made of Havertz. He really needs to, honestly, he needs to show some. He needs to give. I'm sorry, like I'm going to back him. I'm going to back Arteta. I trust the manager, but I also get where fans are coming from. No one's expecting him to pull up any trees here, but show the fans something. He's a guy that looks really. I really think this is a confidence thing, because it's like, how can a guy who was doing bits for Leverkusen and wasn't bad for Chelsea in his first season, how can he be like the player he is right now? For me, that's so surprising. I think confidence, I think Arteta's just trying to build up his confidence. Plus is, of course, our subs again made a difference. Nelson, Jesus, and of course Vieira, who looks hungry, made a difference coming off the bench. Something to be said about Nelson. The guy, like, it's weird because I get that vibe that if we were to start him, he wouldn't have the same impact. I think he's a super sub and he's okay with that. And that's what I like about him. You know, I think our subs, again, made the difference. Of course, we got to talk about Declan Rice, our midfield virtuoso. The guy is, honestly, he's a game changer. He really is a game changer. Like, such a game-changing midfielder. Like, the impact he has on the team is really astronomical. And, like, I knew he was a good player, but, like, I used to read stuff about, oh yeah, how much of a leader he is, how he can drive the team on, what type of personality he is, and that's what I'm really seeing, man. Like I really see like the guy. He looks like he's been at Arsenal for a long time. Just the way he commands things in our midfield is really, really inspiring to see. That being said, not being overly biased to Arsenal, like I do think, despite the fact that I'm happy we beat United, despite the fact that I'm happy to hear Ten Hag moan, I don't think United should be too disheartened by that performance. And hear me out. Because defensively, they actually did quite well against Arsenal up until the end. Defensively, they did well. Saka, quiet. Martinelli, quiet. Ødegaard, they couldn't pick him up. He was one of our best players. The guy's 16 non-penalty goals, by the way. I believe since last season. The guy's a machine. I think he's 5th for most non-penalty goals since the start of last season. 5th in the league. The guy's a beast. Like, we got to talk about Martin Ødegaard. The guy's a real leader. But anyway, I was talking about United. Defensively, they did well. For a long time, they really did. Yeah, they conceded some chances to us, which is going to happen. We're the home team, and despite our lack of fluency, we're still a good team with really dangerous attacking players who are going to cause trouble. So, but United did well. I think, they looked decent. And like, say what you want, I think that the challenge on him by Gabriel is a 50-50. It could go either way if that's a pen or not. But like, Højlund looked good. Yeah, there were times where on the counter he should have made a run where instead of going to the right of Rashford, he should have come to the left of Rashford, where Rashford could play that ball into him, and then he can go overlap Rashford, and then he can play the ball back to Rashford, and then maybe it's an opportunity. But Højlund looked good, physical, fast. I'm not surprised. It's what I saw of him in Atalanta, because I do check out the Serie A. The guy looks like a good player. So it's not all bad for United. I mean, they played Tottenham, who are one of the informed teams the start of the season. So still an abject performance. They played us, who were top for large parts of the season. So it's not all bad for United. So yeah, that's what I'd say on the game. And of course, the Garnacho thing, like I said, get a grip, guys. Like only when Man United lose by such a decision, it's complaining. It's moaning. But when Rashford scored his goal, which was offside last season against Man City at Old Trafford, they weren't saying anything. I think all of these things, you almost get fans trying to bring their bias into what's clearly objective. No, it's offside. The line's been drawn. It's just quite silly, really. And I think to end it, I think Erik Ten Hag, shame on you. Honestly, shame on you. This is a manager that last season I had a lot of respect for. I liked the way he conducted himself. I liked how ruthless he was. I liked the fact that he's a no-nonsense type of guy. And I liked that about him. I liked the type of mindset he was instilling into the likes of Sancho. Well, that's the story. Clearly not. And Rashford, how he was able to get their minds back focused on football. But I think what I saw from Erik Ten Hag this week, disgraceful. Bro, like, you weren't moaning when a blatant pen wasn't given against you against Wolves at home. You weren't moaning when a soft pen was given for Rashford when you beat Nottingham Forest. And people complain about Bruno whinging. I think Bruno's rubbed off on his manager. Like, I've never seen a manager whinge as much as he did. And I think that this ties into the spiritual lesson I got. If you're gonna take L's in life, you just gotta be humble. Be humble in defeat. Like, what I didn't like about him, he didn't take personal responsibility. Instead of him being like, you know what, we defended well, but we collapsed in the end. We did it last season as well. This is something that we got to work on. Our away record is poor. It shows that we don't have longevity in matches of such high intensity. And it shows that we need, and if he had said something like that, if he had just been humble and been like, you know what, like, we're a good counter-attacking team, but we need to do more in terms of imposing ourselves on the opposition, even when we're playing away from home, you would respect him for that. But the fact is that he didn't take any personal responsibility, complain, and then dug out a player that wasn't even on the pitch playing. Jadon Sancho, for me, is a joke. Like, shame on you. And it reminds me of a scripture in the Bible, in Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 10, where God says, He searches our hearts, He examines our mind to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve, right? So God rewards people according to their own conduct, not according to someone else's conduct, not according to someone else's deeds. He rewards according to your own. So you are responsible for what happens in your life. Same way, Ten Hag, you are responsible for how your team performs. You can't, I saw no desire to want to take any of the culpability for United's performances. And he's got to take a lot of stick. A lot of people complain about Arteta. Oh yeah, I can't stand Arteta. But Arteta always takes personal responsibility. Say what you want about him as a manager. When we take L's, when we lose, he never ever digs out the players. He always takes personal responsibility for what he's done and what the team can do better. But I didn't see that in Ten Hag, and I think that's a joke. I think you got to take personal responsibility. And I think the spiritual principle is when you take L's, just take personal responsibility. You're going to take it. We all take L's in life. We're all going to get defeats and setbacks, but it's no reason for us to throw our toys out the pram and blame everything else. Anyways, guys, that's all my thoughts on that. I hope the ICU is able to get the knickers out of Erik Ten Hag's backside. I think they're still in there, as well as the Man United fans as well. Great win for Arsenal. I'm looking to see how we knit together even more after the international break. I think there's still a lot to be done. I still think Martinelli and Havertz, they have zero chemistry whatsoever. That whole left side, they need like quadruple sessions just to get combinations going with each other. If Havertz is going to continue playing, that is. I still think that, as expected, Saka and Martinelli, they traditionally start the season off slow and then they start to cook late on in the season. So there's still a lot to look forward to. You know, like as bad as we've been, we're only 2 points off of top spot. And we've been able to beat Man United at our ground, you know. So, and it's a great win going into the international break. So I don't really have anything else to say, guys. Anyways, hope you have a wonderful day. Please make sure to like, to share, to subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys all again in 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. All the best, guys. Much love.